Hello, welcome to Blood Moon Oracle tonight, to the channel. My name is Leticia. Tonight we are getting started on the book I've been talking about. I went and picked it up. I have my hard copy here. And so I do invite you, if you have an extra $20, $30 to go and pick it up and you want to dive into this alongside, I don't really have an outline. I do feel like this is going to be something where we're going to just allow spirit to flow. But what I will do is I will announce before I actually come on from here forward. That way, if you do have the book and you want to follow along or be a part of it, then I would welcome you. And I would enjoy that actually. And so this is a book written by Iyanla Vanzant, right? And why this is very significant for me. Um, Again, this has been a very interesting experience, a new experience for me. Um, and this journey, this part of my journey, this part of my path has been exciting, exhilarating. It has been challenging and frustrating. It has been very passion driven, all of those things mixed together. And to speak about the frustrating part, I would say part of the frustration has been around not knowing certain things, and not really having a blueprint, if I could say that. One of the things that have stood out for me on this part of my journey is this thing called spiritual hygiene, right? This has been something that I have been yearning to learn about. And so this is an opportunity for me to have my questions answered, to learn, to explore what that means. I am so excited that this book came out, and it's something that I can take upon myself to learn. This is what I choose to use as my experience, right? And then we could take that and then use that however we need to move forward. We can make it our own and customize it in however we need to do that. But this is definitely something that has been heavy on my heart in this part of my life. And so I'm excited about this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Iyanla Vanzant. And so a practical path for clean living, inner authority, and divine freedom is the further description of this book, Spiritual Hygiene. And I feel like it's very appropriate for right now. As she has said, we are in a time of great chaos and uncertainty. I'm just basically reading from the page here. And this book kind of introduces opportunities to delve into transformational practices around spiritual hygiene. And the foreword says, you hold many dreams in your heart, dreams of abundance, dreams of freedom and adventure, community and legacy. Yet at the end of the day, you're weary, worn down by endless demands, disturbing headlines, rising costs, and painful disappointments. You collapse into survival mode, wondering if tomorrow will bring relief. What if the life you seek is not outside of you at all? What if beneath the bills, the noise, the exhaustion, there is already a still, sacred voice within, offering guidance, clarity, and peace? What if? What if all that is needed is to cleanse the inner clutter that muffles that sound? Spiritual hygiene is that cleansing. It is the practice of tending to the unseen as faithfully as we tend to the seen. Cleansing the mind, the heart, the body, and soul so that you may return to alignment with the divine blueprint of your being. Born of lived experience, personal loss, and divine assignment, this book carries the wisdom of remembrance with clarity and compassion. Iyanla Vanzant leads us on a path of restoring the inner temple. From poverty to possibility, I like that. From abuse to empowerment. From grief of losing her beloved daughter, Nisa, to the sanctuary of inner peace. She reveals that spiritual care is not optional, it's necessary maintenance. So, in this book, within these pages, we will learn to release outdated narratives, honor boundaries that protect our energy, quiet the voices of trauma, and embrace grief as a portal to wisdom. And most of all, we will be guided to reconnect with our divine purpose through ritual, silence, and intentional daily practice. This is not just a book, it's a cleansing, it's a call, and it's a sacred invitation to return to ourselves. I love it, and I'm so ready. This comes right on time. So this isn't the only book that she's written. She's actually named as one of the #1 New York Times best-selling authors. There's other books that she's written. One is called Every Day I Pray, Living Through the Meantime, Until Today, Yesterday I Cried, Don't Give It Away, In the Meantime, One Day My Soul Just Opened Up, Faith in the Valley, The Value in the Valley, and Acts of Faith. Those are all books that she has written. This particular book she has dedicated to her two daughters, Nisa Camille Vanzant and Omo Abatala Emi Olade. Okay, and also to Carolyn Reedy. She thanks them for seeing in her what she didn't see in herself, what she couldn't see in herself. And she offers this book as kind of a offering, a dedication. And she says, may this offering move on the wings of your light into the hands and hearts that need it most. May every page ripple with healing. May every soul who touches this work remember their radiance, reclaim their power, and rise in wholeness. May the one who birthed this work be continually replenished, protected, and honored for the gift released into this world. With reverence and gratitude always, Amari El Naya, also known to the world as Iyanla. Vanzant. Okay. And so I think this is very beautiful. It is very inspirational. And I think it comes at a very important time. As she stated, like this is a time of great chaos and uncertainty. And even though that is true, there's yet still the opportunity for us to be still in this time within ourselves, to go deeper within ourselves, to continue to get to know ourselves even more. Just because it's stormy on the outside doesn't mean that it has to be stormy on the inside. As a matter of fact, the more stormy it becomes on the outside, the more solidified we ought to be on the inside. And so I think this comes at a very perfect time. Speaking for myself, it comes at a perfect time. And so she starts off by letting us know that we all have a sacred responsibility. Mm-hmm. And she welcomes us first and foremost before mentioning what that sacred responsibility is. We're on page, it looks like 9 of the foreword of the book, right after the contents. Welcome, beloved one. Welcome to the sacred space of healing, remembering, and a deep inner truth. What you are holding in your hand is much more than a collection of bound pages. The topics, insights, and teaching within these pages are tools offered to support you in clearing away what is heavy, preparing you to return to what is holy, and connecting you to all that is aligned with the highest version of yourself. We live in a world that clamors for our attention, feeds our fear, and teaches us to forget our sacred nature. Then she says that I pray you will discover and receive this offering as a divine call to return, to slow down, to feel again, to choose clarity over clutter, alignment over chaos, and spiritual power over people pleasing, ego gratifying performance, and insatiable external validation seeking. Right? In all that is present, All that I will share, she says, and all that we will explore, you are not asked or expected to be perfect. That's good because, listen, far from it. She says, you are simply invited to be present, not perfect, just present. Present with words, present with your own needs and desires, presence, present with the places within you and in your life that are calling out for peace, the places that require some tender, loving care and attention. Also, she says, I invite you to be fully present with the greater possibility that can and will unfold with the practices of good spiritual hygiene. As you explore, she'd like for us to examine and contemplate what is offered within these pages and be on the lookout for those gentle nudges or those gentle invitations. Number one, speak your truth. Okay. Don't be afraid to look within and call it what it is and see what it is and to speak what needs to be uttered. Number two, reclaim the parts of yourself that may have been lost, right? Empowerment. Don't be afraid to step into those opportunities where you are able to empower yourself, even with things that you might have lost somewhere along the way, or maybe you gave it away. Don't be afraid to pull that back, right? Pull your power back. Number three, to release what was never yours, right? One of the greatest discoveries that I found in my journey of healing, like I've taken on so much stuff, especially if you're an empath, right? You take on all kind of stuff that never even needed to be touched. It never belonged to you, yet you find yourself carrying the burden of it. The most beautiful thing that I found is we can release what's not ours. Listen. And lastly, to fully embody your identity as the clean, clear vessel of divine presence that you came here to be. For many of us, we're still finding that. And the journey has been one of just amazement, you know. Um, and that's all a part of it. It's not getting or, arriving, but it's all about becoming. It's all about the discovery, the journey on the way there. And so to fully embody that identity is what this is all about as well. She says to take your time with every page, and that's what we're going to do. Inquire and practice. We're going to tear it apart. We're going to put it into practice. Trust your internal rhythm of knowing what to do and what you may not be ready for yet. Yet means it's not a no, maybe just not right at that moment. However, receive what you can and leave what feels like too much for later. Let these pages serve as a mirror, a medicine chest, and a divine map guiding you on your sacred journey, right? And then she just goes on to say how honored she is to be able to walk with us with this, within clarity and in courage, with sacred commitment and love. And then she announces herself. She says, I am Amari Elnaya, known to the world as Iyanla. Okay. And then she goes in to talk about our sacred responsibility. And before I go into that part, I'm going to just say that what we're talking about today is in many ways it's not going to reach out and connect with everybody because not everybody is ready for this. Not everybody is searching for authentic living or authentic experience or, finding that space that empowers you to show up as your best self, as your healed self, releasing things that you didn't even realize you were carrying. Like, not everybody is there, and that's okay. That's okay. Because this is reaching out to those who are already on that path. This is going to make sense to a certain type of person, right? And so I don't expect for this to be a popular word or a popular podcast, playlist, however we want to put it. Healing never is, right? Healing is dirty work. It's serious business, right? And it's not easy. And so I don't expect for this to be for everybody. This is for a particular type of person, more than likely that has already started the process of healing or awakening, right? And so let me just say that first and foremost. But as she goes into the introduction, which talks about what she calls our sacred responsibility, this is what she has to say. There comes a time on our individual path of spiritual evolution when lighting a candle to feel grounded is no longer enough. You brush your teeth and wash your body every single day to prevent disease and stay clean. But what do you do every day to heal your soul? We clean the outside, but what are we doing to cleanse the inside and to keep that sanitized and clean or refreshed? At some point, you will realize that healing does not come just from what you do, but also from what you're willing to face and admit. Sometimes it is being able to release it, right? Being able to speak it and release it, right? You've been carrying it for so long, it's there, it's present, and it's kind of eroding from the inside out because it's a part that you refuse to acknowledge. You feel like if you just don't acknowledge it, it'll go away. No, sometimes we need to speak it out, that which has infested our souls for so long. Just speak it out and release it. Be done with it, right? At some point, I'm going to say it again, you will realize that healing does not just come from what you do, but it also comes from what you're willing to face. You'll face a pivotal moment when your soul begins to ache. Ooh, anybody been there? Where your soul begins to ache. Ooh, that's deep. Not because you have done something wrong, but because it's time to return to your essence, who you really are. That essence is innocent. That essence is pure. When I look around the world today, I sense that this is that time. We live in a world that demands our attention, steals our breath, and teaches us to forget who we really are. We are conditioned to perform rather than to feel, to pretend we are okay instead of doing the work required to be okay. Unfortunately, you can't decorate internal debris. You cannot pray away pain you deny or the mental chatter you won't face. You cannot shift, change, grow, evolve, or heal if you are dragging the weight of what you have not cleansed or released. She says that she learned this the hard way. And she now knows with every fiber of her being that spiritual hygiene matters. She says, when I think of spiritual hygiene, she thinks of it as a daily sacred devotion of clearing the inner space. It is the loving commitment to honoring your thoughts, emotions, energy, and soul with the same reverence that you give your sacred belongings, right? And she says the mind is an altar, the heart is a temple, our presence is holy. And sometimes the most powerful revelations come through, listen, our deepest pain. Mm-mm-mm. One of my favorite scriptures that I am reminded of that kept me going in some of the most difficult parts of my life talked about pain and the fact that pain is not something that's just meant to have us suffer. Like, even when we talk about it in the spiritual matter, it is said that we will never be given pain without something being birthed in our spirit, right? The pain is the seed of something new being birthed. That's one of my favorite scriptures. And I believe that it's in, let me find out, because we want to be exact here, right? We're going to be speaking from a whole bunch of different sources, right? Because we all come from different walks of life. It's not just one belief or one experience. We are a collective of experiences. And so we find this in Isaiah 66:9. I will not cause pain without birthing something new in your spirit. She's talking about that. The most powerful revelations sometimes come through our deepest pain. She began to talk about how she once lived there too, in the trenches of fear and survival. Over time, with practice and pain, guided by spirit, she gradually climbed her way into a different consciousness, a different thought pattern. She discovered a world where everything is energy and nothing is personal. We're talking about karma now, okay? She entered a higher level of spiritual consciousness where love doesn't need to be earned or proven, where you know deep in your bones that you are more than this physical body, right? More than just a fluid bag, but the essence of the soul, not just the body. She learned that you can delay, deny, resist, and avoid healing, but you cannot fail at it because healing is real and forgiveness is freedom. She goes on to say that she's not where she is today because she's better. She's not where she is today because she's stronger or more talented than anybody else. She's here writing this book, sharing in this experience, and pulling others into this experience to help them along on their journey. She's here because she chose moment by moment, day by day, to practice what she calls spiritual hygiene, to cleanse the debris of what she had encountered and endured throughout her life without forgiveness, meaning she was holding on to it, even without even knowing it, right? That's why they say forgiveness is for us. It's not necessarily for the other person. It's so that we can get clear and release the heaviness of it. She says our physical world is collapsing, and we see that moment by moment, day by day. No matter how we want to shut our eyes to what's going on or the truth, the real truth that's being revealed, is collapsing. That old system is collapsing. What once worked to keep us safe is no longer effective for moving forward, period. But our spiritual, energetic world is absolutely real and is rising. The spiritual world beckons us to question most of what we have been taught. I'm going to say that again. The spiritual world beckons us, it pleads with us to question most of what we have been taught. Some of us, as teachers and light workers, are building bridges between the two depths of life and understanding. And some of us are stuck in the rubble, right? She says, as she began to prepare to write this book, she reviewed her own life, examined her own thoughts and emotions, her regrets and practices. She realized how essential this work is, not just for our peace, but for our survival, the survival of this world that we all love. And so, whether you are here, whether you're new to this type of work or returning to what your soul has always known, it's for you. What's in these pages are for you. And she has prayed that what she shares will become kind of like a drawing, it will become your sacred yes. And she's inviting us to allow one moment of one thing we read on these pages to be the moment that we choose clarity over confusion, alignment over exhaustion, and divine presence over performance. Yeah, because we get to the point where we realize nothing even matters anyway, except for our authenticity, right? It doesn't matter, right? Whether they like you or not, it don't matter. Whether they think you are the best thing since bread pudding or not, it doesn't matter. None of that has anything to do with you. And so she's asking us, do we want to feel inspired again? Like everything we do is in step with our purpose, our divine purpose. Do we want to feel authentically connected to both our inner truth and to a community that supports us? Do we want to find joy in small things we experience every single day? Simple things, right? Then let this truth be your invitation. You can choose a different reality. You can rise above any and everything. You can cleanse your mind and heart because your soul was never soiled. You can remember who you truly are. And when you do, not only will you be free, but your presence demonstrates to others that it is possible for them to choose freedom too. Okay. So that was the beginning of this journey with Miss Iyanla Vanzant on her experience of spiritual hygiene and how it has helped her. And so this is what we're about to delve into. Okay, that was just the forward, the introduction, the intention behind this work. And just to let you know, she dedicated this to her two daughters. She has lost her two daughters. Her two daughters is no longer with us. And yet she still stands as an example of healing and of inspiration, letting us know, like, there's nothing that can hold us back from what we have been purposed to experience on this journey. Nothing if we don't allow it to. We can arise above and make it through anything. Okay. So that's just the beginning. If you are interested, I'm going to give you time to go ahead and pick it up. That's just the forward on the next video. And it is going to be, I want to say next Sunday. We're going to start the first level 1 called healing. Okay. Level 1 called healing. All right, so that is just the beginning of what we're about to jump into, giving you time to go pick it up. They sell it at Barnes and Noble. I'm sure any of the major book outlets, you can order it online. They even have it on Audible, so you can listen to it as you go along as well. If you're somebody that don't have a lot of time to carry, you can actually buy it on Audible and just listen to it as you're driving or as you're going. And so if you'd like to follow along, I'm going to give you time between now and next Sunday to pick up the book if you want to. And you don't have to follow my pace because this is good. And it's probably going to be hard to stop, right? Because it's so good. And all of the information is just profound. And for me, every other line is like, oh my gosh, she's speaking my language, my soul language. And so I'm giving you time to go and pick it up if you choose to be a part of this spiritual hygiene lesson, we'll call it. But that was just a little bit of leading into what we are about to jump into. I think she did a really good job of explaining around her mission in writing this book, her purpose, and how it's serving that purpose. A lot of what we go through in life is really preparing and prepping us for our purpose. I believe that. And she is just an example. As she said, like, I'm not smarter than anybody else. I'm not more talented, more special. I'm just following my purpose. I'm just following my call and using every experience that I have had to pour into that. And this is just like an example of that. It's so powerful. It is a call and a leading for us to fall in line with what our purpose is. And part of that too, I believe, is healing. It's part of that. And so that's what we're doing. Welcome. If you are up for this, make sure you subscribe and get your book. If you can't afford it, that's okay. We're going to read through this line by line. We're going to take this and, delve into it and break it apart and just get a real good feel of what's happening when it comes to this thing that we call spiritual hygiene and how it serves us. Okay. And again, I don't believe you have to be any certain belief. Like, you can come from a biblical perspective. A lot of the references in here may use different phrases and wording, but it's from a biblical perspective. Just like when she was talking about pain, not understanding that it is through the deepest experiences, the most painful experiences that we get the most deepest revelations. That's, scripture. I will not allow you to feel pain without birthing something new in your spirit. Isaiah 66:9. And then she also comes from a spiritual perspective as well. When she talks about, instituting certain kinds of rituals and things that can help us just keep our energy cleansed so that we can move with clarity, right? She may pull in other, um, ways of expressing that and utilizing tools that we have at our disposal. She is very multi faceted in that way. Like she pulls from many different sources. Truth is truth. That's one thing that we understand. Truth is truth, and it's going to stand no matter where you place it. Okay. And so don't feel like you have to be coming from a certain kind of influence to get down and to understand and to learn from what we're going to be talking about. I don't believe so. I think this is just good for good old living, right? It's just good for good old living. Whether you proclaim to, practice this or practice that, maybe you're not sure what you believe. That's okay too. That's okay too. You still need to have a sense of clarity in life, right? And so come on, don't let anything stop you. Go grab your book, and we're going to start in 7 days next Sunday, okay? And if you want to, you can let me know that you're present, that you're in. You can comment, you can email me, however you want to reach out is fine, okay? And if I have people that are interested, I'm even open to have open dialogue. We can go live and discuss it too. That is really my hope, is to really dig in and have open discussions around this. Okay. So don't be shy. Don't be shamed. We are casting out all of that old stagnant energy around shame and embarrassment and not feeling empowered to stand in your truth. We're not giving that no kind of power and no fame, no glory. But if you feel like you are being called to walk on this particular healing cycle, this healing journey, I invite you. You have an open invitation, okay? All right. I'll see you all soon. Go get the book and let's do this. My name is Leticia, and we will see you soon. Bye. Spiritual Hygiene by Iyanla Vanzant.